All right, welcome everyone to another round of T2 Hot Seat interviews. And today we have none other than Clarence Chew from Singapore. Clarence, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone, I'm Clarence Chew from Singapore, and it's nice to meet you all.
Yes. And of course, like today, we can see that we're both doing this virtually because of the current situation that we're in. But at the same time, Clarence, thank you so much for taking up the time, understanding that you are actually just done with a single practice and you have another practice later on. Am I right?
Yes, I've just done with my morning session of training, and I'll be having one in the afternoon, but it's a pleasure to be here today and doing this with you all.
Great. Well, look, this is gonna be a very fun interview session. So, Clarence, I'm just gonna ask you a few questions, but just really before any of those, we're just gonna play a very simple game we like to call T2 Hot Seat. Okay? How it's gonna work for the viewers out there that do not know what this is about. I'm just gonna give you guys a brief run through of how it works. So each time we'll be interviewing a athlete, and today we'll have Clarence, of course, with us. He's gonna be given 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible, and he can only answer it once. All right, each correct answer is worth 1 point. Regardless of the answer given, I'll move on to the next question. All right, and in the final 24 seconds of this 60 seconds, the points will be doubled. So it will be worth 2 points for every correct answer instead of 1 point from before. All right, and if Clarence, if you do not know any questions at all, or you do not understand what I'm trying to say, you can just skip the question. Just let me know, skip, and I'll move on to the next one, okay?
All right.
Great, and one thing I should mention as well is that at the end of this whole challenge, right, across the next few weeks, when we're interviewing different players, there will be a virtual leaderboard, and Clarence, you might walk away with some prizes if you came up on top. So look forward to that. It's gonna be great. So Clarence, are you ready? Do you think you're ready to start this game off?
Yeah, I hope it's not too hard, but I'll try my best. And yeah, I'm ready.
What is STTA?
Singapore Table Tennis Association.
What is the national flower of Singapore?
It's the orchid.
According to Google, how many people are there in the world as of 2020?
Skip.
What is the diameter of a table tennis ball?
Skip.
Solve
I
this.
forgot.
98 multiplied by 2.
196.
In what year did table tennis become an Olympic sport?
1992.
What do you call a baby goat?
A sheep. Wait.
How many islands are there in Singapore?
1.
According to Google, what is the most played sport in Singapore?
Is it badminton?
All right, that's it. 1 minute is up. Well, I can assure you that you did really relatively well. You got quite a few answers correct. But I'm quite surprised. Do you not know the diameter of a table tennis ball?
Not really. I kind of forgot.
We are holding it every day, so surely you can kind of guess. But look, it's actually 40 millimeters. So just to let you know.
Oh yeah, it's written on the ball. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I just really want to sit down with you and really want to know more about you as a player, and I guess letting the fans around the world kind of understand who you are and what are you up to right now. So I just want to maybe if you could just give us maybe a scope of like what is a day in the life of Clarence? What does it look like? What's your daily life like?
Yeah, my daily life, of course, it just mostly revolves around table tennis. So we have 2 sessions of training. In the morning,
Yeah.
it's from 9:30 to 12:30, and then we have lunch and a break where we could, have a short nap and get some rest. So the afternoon session starts at 4:30 and it ends around 7. And then, yeah, after that, I'll just go home and rest. So that's basically a day.
Fair enough. And when you go home and rest, like, do you just like take a nap or probably spend time with your family and friends, right? Like, obviously, just take a break off table tennis.
Yes, of course. For for when I reach back home, it's mostly just having dinner with my family and then having a bit of me time to relax, like
Yes.
watching shows and playing games. So
Watching shows and playing games. What games do you play, or what shows do you watch normally?
yeah, I think of course I like watching dramas, Korean dramas, Chinese dramas, everything I guess. And then yeah,
Yep.
sometimes I would play video games with my friend as well on the computer, just to
Yeah.
as a form of relaxation. Yeah,
Stress relief. Yeah,
yeah.
fair enough, fair enough. And you said you like to watch Korean shows, right? Like, have you? I think obviously you did. Have you watched the very popular show right now on Netflix called Squid Game?
Yes, definitely. I think yeah, it's one of the most popular shows, and I kind of binge watched it during quarantine, so I finished the whole series in like almost in like a day, I guess, a day or two.
Wow. And that is
It
like
was really
about
good.
7 hours, 8 hours straight. Am I right?
Yeah,
Around there.
yeah,
Wow.
it was
Awesome.
pretty good.
It was pretty good. Great, great, great. If you were to be imagine yourself playing in the Squid Game, do you think you'll make it to be the last one standing, or you might not?
Uh, it seems kind of hard, but right, I'll just try to make it past the first round, I guess.
Yes, one one
Yeah,
one challenge at a time, correct?
yeah,
Fair enough,
definitely.
fair enough. And yeah, great. And something I think a lot of people want to know, I guess people in Singapore especially, is maybe do you normally train in STTA, or if people want to catch you training, like where's the best place to go and catch you training?
Yeah, on those days, our training is held at the Singapore Table Tennis Association.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like if there's different arrangement, we do train at the Singapore Sports School as well. Like sometimes, yeah. So, but mostly it's at SDTA.
Yep, yep. And I think I read somewhere before as well, like growing up and everything. Do you play any other sports apart from table tennis?
Not really. I think ever since young, table tennis has been the only sport I'm playing. Even though like
Yeah.
I'm interested in, and I watch many different sports often. But yeah, most of the time is spent on table tennis.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Great, great, great. And I think another thing I want to really ask you about is like obviously um, being a Singaporean, you have to do your national service, right? And
Yes.
maybe can you just maybe give us an idea of how has that actually disrupted your entire training for like your career in table tennis?
Yeah, I think national service, of course, is what all Singaporean males have to go through. So for 2 years, even though it's kind of disruptive, like I could only train for maybe like a few hours on weekends. Basically,
Yeah.
during the weekdays, we are in, the army camp doing our duties. So yeah, I could not train regularly and could not participate in overseas tournaments that frequently as well. So it was definitely a difficult period, but I think being in the army really helps you grow mentally, I guess. Physically,
Yeah.
maybe I think it helps build different attributes, to strengthen yourself as a person. So I think that experience actually helped me as well. Yeah, now that I've done with it.
Great. But sounds from your experience that it's something that you think that is very beneficial because it worked on your mental game and at the same time a physical game as well. So that's a good thing, I guess.
Yes, I think besides helping in the mental and physical aspects,
Mm.
maybe not training that often or not competing that often, uh, made me like kind of adjust the way I train. Uh,
Yep.
when I compete, like it makes it more effective in another way as well.
Mm.
So yeah, that actually helped.
Wow. Yeah, that's a very good way to think about it. And something else is that I guess after your national service, I think the one of the first few tournaments you came back to was actually our T2 Diamond competition in Singapore. Am I right?
Yeah,
How was that experience for you? Like being a part of that event and being in front of the home crowd?
there was the T2 event was actually like I think only a week after I finished my national service, so it was kind of
Wow.
rushed. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was a very good experience, playing against all the top players against the world, and I think it's a very great event to be held in Singapore, which
Mm.
it really helped promote the sport in Singapore, gain popularity, and it's nice to see so many people coming down to watch, and yeah, it was a very nice experience.
format. I mean, watching your game against Tomo, all right, in the 2019 T2 Diamond, you went to the Fast Five for the final set, and yeah, he won you on that set. But I'm guessing that the Fast Five concept, do you like it? Do you think that it's something that is good to have in table tennis games?
Yes, I think the Fast Five is a very interesting format. It creates a lot more unpredictability, which is good for the audience, and
Yeah.
maybe it has a greater chance of upset, I guess. So my goal that
Yes.
time was to reach the Fast Five, and yeah, I think it's good that I got
And you
there.
did it.
But
Yeah, good job, man. Yeah, it was a very entertaining game, and I guess the crowd really loved it as well. Yeah. So something else, I guess, is really maybe letting the fans and everyone else know as well. Like, what really kickstart your career in table tennis? Because not many people will actually take this path, and I guess you being Singaporean, it's not a very common route to take because sports is something that people will not always in the society wise they will not always focus on. But what made you really decide to really pursue this dream of yours and make a career out of it?
yeah, so I was actually introduced to the sport by my parents. They were both table tennis athletes themselves,
Yep.
and yeah, of course, I started competing in local tournaments, and I managed to get good results, which actually piqued my interest even more.
Great.
Yeah, also I was very lucky not only to have my family's support, but also the support of STTA. I think they have a very
Mm.
good development program for us to progress from young, like all the way
Mm.
to the youth team and then the national team. And also, I think joining the Singapore Sports School during my secondary school was a good choice. It allowed
Yep.
me more opportunities to train and compete overseas to gain exposure, while also allowing me to balance my studies as well, which is of course very important in Singapore. So I think
Yep. Yep.
there's a good balance there, which helped me not lag behind studies, but also to continue to improve in my table tennis and compete at a high level.
Yep. Yep. And I think one of the stories that really caught my eye was the story about how you actually received an autograph bat from the former world champ, Xu Yingzhen, right? All right.
Yes.
So, can you maybe tell us more about that whole experience for you, and if maybe that really impacted your journey as an athlete as well?
Yeah, so actually, Xu Shen was a former coach of my mom, and
Yep.
so once we met up in Shanghai, but I was still very
Mm.
young then, and yeah, he actually gave me a autograph bet saying to, train hard and hopefully one day to compete at the Olympics. So I think it's a very treasured item that I have,
For
and
sure.
yeah, it has inspired me a lot to get to where I am today.
So is it like locked up somewhere in your room and you're like making sure that nobody touches it because it's obviously a prized possession, right?
It's actually just displayed at the living room. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's in a visible spot. So maybe every time I walk past, I could see and be reminded
Yes,
of it.
actually, I was gonna say, yeah, that's awesome. Like coming into the living room and you get some inspiration and remember that your dream is not far away and you're constantly trying to achieve it. So that's really cool. That's really cool. And I guess another thing is something that I think you kind of make the whole news about in Singapore is that you're being actually the first Singaporean-born paddler having to achieve so many achievements at such a young age. Like qualifying for obviously the Olympics and also playing from the Youth Olympic Games back in 2010. How did all those feel as a person, and how has that really impacted your growth as well?
Yes, I think playing at such major events like the Youth Olympic and the Olympics, really it's always been like a dream of mine and one I've always worked towards too. And yeah, I hope this achievement it's like a result of all my hard work all these years, and hopefully it can actually inspire younger generations, players in Singapore who have similar goals, to
Yep.
work hard towards their dream, and that it's achievable.
Yeah. Do you remember what it feels like to wear that Singapore jersey? going into those international events? Like, how does it feel wearing that jersey on?
Yeah, I think definitely representing Singapore, it always gives you great pride and honor. You know, not many people get the opportunity, and I'm very grateful to be able to, yeah, just to represent the nation and always try to do my best to achieve good results. And yeah.
That's great. That's great. And talking about the Olympics as well, you obviously having qualified for the Tokyo 2020, but that road was not easy for you, am I right? Like I think like you have to go through plenty of qualifying stages with the Asian qualifiers at Doha. Can you walk us through maybe like how do you get there and maybe talk a bit about that game with Cohen as well with your compatriot? How was it and how do you go?
Yes, so actually for the Asian qualification tournament, of course we know it's been postponed and in between, postponed from 2020. So in between there was a lot of uncertainty as well. But yeah, I think going into the Olympic qualification, there was a lot of strong opponents. But basically, I think I had a good mindset going into the the tournament. I just told myself, just to like be the underdog and to even if I don't manage to make it in the end, I think what I hope is to have no regrets, even as long as I know I tried my best. And yeah, I think the final, it was actually a lot tougher than the scoreline suggests. Playing against a teammate is always not easy. And
Yes.
yeah, I think I'm very happy that I managed to, win it in the end. And yeah, it was a very good achievement. I'm very happy.
Great, because I was thinking in my head, like playing with your teammate, you're probably playing with him every single day at STTA, or like you guys are training against each other every day. So would he have known a lot of your weaknesses, but at the same time, you would have known some of his weaknesses as well, am I right?
Yeah, so of course, with Cohen, we train regularly, and we kind of know each other's play style. We're more familiar with it, but I think during the
Yeah.
match, it was more just to focus on my own game plan and to like try to play more aggressive or to stick with a certain tactics, which I think I managed to do well, and yeah, thankfully it worked out well as well.
Yeah, that's great, man. Because obviously, like the whole Singapore was rooting for you. The moment you qualified for Olympics, and then going through the different rounds as well. Maybe can you share a bit of experience of your Tokyo 2020 Olympics, the one that just recently finished? Like, how was it for you, the whole tournament from start to finish, when you obviously having to go through quarantine and then being able to finally get on court? How was it like?
Yeah, so yeah, playing at the Olympics is always a dream. Ever since I qualified, I've been very looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think overall I had a very positive experience there. Yeah, of course my goal was, really to put on a good performance and to leave no regrets after, going through so much just to qualify. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm actually very happy I managed to win the first round. And of course, even though I lost in the next, I think it was a good learning experience playing against, all these top level players and watching them, compete at an event like the Olympics where the tension is, really high. I could
Yeah.
really feel the nervousness myself during the matches. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think overall I've gained a lot of confidence from this, and but also at the same time, I could see what I was lacking against all these
Yeah.
players, and which is something I have to work on for the future.
Yeah, so like in terms of nervousness, even without the crowds, like being dead silence over there, like it was still pretty nerve-wracking, is it?
Yeah, definitely. I could actually feel my hand shake like when I was serving or receiving. So yeah, it
Oh
was a kind
no.
of nervousness. Yeah, I could never feel it before. Maybe only at the Olympics. But yeah,
Yeah, fair
thankfully I
enough. But
managed
look,
to shake it off. Yeah.
yeah, you're good. Yeah, you managed to shake it off. And I think like now that you experienced it before, if you were to go into the next Olympics or the next major tournament like a World Champs or something like a final big stage like that, I think you kind of have the experiences from before that will then help you shake it off easier. Or maybe you might even, put on an even stronger front and come out even stronger. Am I right? Having those experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps. From this experience, you know how to maybe keep calm in other crucial moments, so that you can be able to think more clearly and
Yep.
play more effectively. Yeah, so definitely it helps.
Yeah, because I guess like the whole table tennis game, a lot of people from the outside, including myself, I think that it's always just you just gotta be really quick and fast in your feet. Your hands and eye coordination are really good. But I think a lot of people forgot about the mental game, which is really tough, right? Because you're going up against different players with different type of attacking styles and defensive styles. Maybe could you just tell us a bit more about how have you developed a mental game, and were there any time in doing games whereby you were able to realize that you were in a kind of a slump and you came back up and then you just proved that you have a better, stronger mental game than the opponent?
Yes. So yeah, I mean, table tennis. It's a very fast-paced game, and there's only uh, 11 points to reach 11 points per game. So actually, the turnover is very fast. So
Yeah,
maybe like once you lose a few points, it could actually disrupt your momentum. Or
yeah,
even when
correct.
you're leading, you have to, just to calm down. So I think
Mm,
over the years, through all my experience playing, I think, of course, sometimes like when I was leading, I could get too eager to win, and it could actually backfire. So
yeah.
something I learned that is to really just, take it one point at a time, even if you're
Mm.
winning or behind. So that actually helps to be more focused on your own game. And yeah, of course, I think if you focus on your own game, then the results or the points that you win will come. I think that actually
And do you
helps.
have like maybe I don't know, maybe do you have like a mental coach that coaches you on different strategies and things can come out with during the game? Or do you normally just like based on your prior experiences, you apply it into your future games?
Yeah, I think most of the time it's more of a personal thing. Of course, the coach
Mm.
and yourself, you can discuss,
Yep,
certain tactics, whatnot.
yep.
But during the game, I think making the adjustments and the necessary changes are more about yourself and how you
Yeah,
adapt
fair
to
enough.
the situation, and how,
Yeah.
like, if the opponent changes his tactic as well. These are all things to consider.
Recently, you competed in the Asian World, I think the Asian Championships, right? The one at
Yes.
Doha in the team format. How was that for you guys? Because obviously in the team, I think you were the oldest of everyone. So were you kind of like the guy that people were like? Were you leading the team, or was it like people just gathering around each other and just working together towards a common goal?
Yeah. So at the Asian Championships, of course, we have a very young team, and I
Yep,
think I think all of us put on a good performance to achieve the final result. And
yep.
yeah, so my job, of course, as a more senior player would be, uh, do my part in performing well, and to encourage my teammates, and
Mm.
yeah, to perform to the best of their ability as well. And I think we all did a very good job collectively. So it's I think it's a good thing to see, and we will all work hard to achieve even better results, hopefully.
Yeah, I know, because like I think you guys did really well in the group stages, and then in the quarterfinals, you guys were up against a very strong Chinese Taipei team. So I think really kudos to you guys for going that far into the tournament and really playing your heart out. But you know what, looking forward, right now, how are your competition preparations coming along for the next big thing? Like what's next for you?
Yes, so we actually just came out of quarantine last week from after coming back from the Asian
And
Championships. Yeah, of course, next year in 2022, there are many major games that we have to prepare, such as the Southeast Asian Games, Commonwealth Games, and even the Asian
yes,
Games. So yeah, I
yep,
think it's a really packed but exciting year ahead. So
yep,
looking forward
for
to it.
sure. Great. And do you have any personal targets at the Commonwealth Games or any of those events? Like maybe reaching the finals or maybe just really just focus on achieving certain personal goals. What do you have in mind?
Yeah, definitely. Even at the Commonwealth Games, I think the standards are really high. So
Mm.
personally, it will be just to, you know, put on a good performance. Yeah, do my best, and of course, if I go win a medal, that would be great. I
for
think
sure.
we need to have a good preparation so that we could, arrive at the games in a good condition and hopefully
Yeah.
play our best and do well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, like today, you're training in the morning, training at night, and you probably the rest of the week is going to be the same for you. I'm sure you and your fellow Singaporean paddlers, you guys are all really training really hard. And 2022 is not far away, but definitely there is some time for you guys to train for it. I think one last thing I want to ask you is maybe, what do you see table tennis happening in the future of like in Singapore? Like, do you see it becoming like a popular sport like basketball or football? What do you hope to see in Singapore in terms of table tennis?
Yeah, I think in Singapore you could actually see there is more interest in table tennis over these years. I can see, more young players, getting into the sport, and yeah, I think it's a good thing to see. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
could also have like, more international tournaments arriving in Singapore.
Mm.
I think that would definitely help, um, you know, um, elevate the sport here in terms of popularity. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure many of these young table tennis athletes, they will have, similar aspirations and dreams to what I have. So hopefully
Yeah.
they can continue to work hard and to achieve their goals.
Yeah. Great. 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 Well, look, that's all for me today. But maybe before we finish off, do you have anything you'd like to say to all your fans out there? Like maybe any motivational quote or maybe like something you want to leave behind before we end this call?
Yeah, I think thank you to all the fans or everyone who has been supporting me and watching my matches. Of course, I'm very grateful and
Yeah.
thankful. Yeah. So, of course, one quote I always hold close to my heart will be, to always have a little faith. Because even in, bad days or after a loss, I think it's always important to believe in yourself
Yeah.
and that you can come back stronger. So I think,
Mm.
of course, having a little faith will also mean that like even during these trying times where uh, around the world, I think hopefully things will get better soon and we can all
Yeah.
live our
Hopefully.
lives more normally. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, thank you so much today for your time today, Clarence, and good luck for your upcoming tournaments. And I think I hope that you stay safe. And next year we're gonna be really looking out for all the achievements that you're gonna bring to Team Singapore. I believe you're gonna do great things for us at the Commonwealth Games and all the different tournaments as well. So thank you so much. And yeah, that's it for now.
Thank you very much. See you all.